A man standing close to a clothing store quickly finds himself in a dire situation as a man quietly walks up behind him and points a gun to his head. What happens next is completely shocking and unexpected. Here's some of the most disturbing cartel encounters caught on camera. In this video here, we can see CCTV from a gas station revealing the moment the resourcefulness of a man saves him from getting robbed. In the video, a man can be seen quietly minding his business as he fills his car with gas from a self-service stand, while a white van suddenly approaches. Thinking it was another vehicle that came to get refueled, the reality of the situation quickly dawns on him when that white van suddenly stops close to his parked car, and three men in hoodies rush out towards him. The man, at a loss for words, quickly sprang into action using the nozzle as a weapon. Without thinking twice, he sprays gasoline all over him before they attack and steal his car. One of the robbers even tries dodging the spray and quickly attempts to open the car door. Seeing what's about to happen, the owner focuses on him with the nozzle, causing him to immediately give up the attempt and run away. Drenched in fuel, the robbers realize they had picked the wrong target and immediately try to escape by running back to their getaway vehicle, which was already on the move. Now, this shocking video was captured by dashcam of a vehicle falling victim to a cartel's armed robbery in broad daylight. On the notorious Goteng N4 highway, the occupants of a white BMW could be heard shooting repeatedly at the victim car before it came into view. The Beamer then stops in the middle of the road to block the car coming from behind. Armed men can be seen exiting the vehicle and rushing towards the car where two businessmen sat in shock. These men were coming from the bank and had withdrawn huge sums of money. While there's no footage of what happened after the robbers approached the vehicle, reports claim that the victims were unharmed and the bad guys were never caught. A family and many others were enjoying their meal at a local restaurant when the cartel decided to burst in. The thieves, armed and threatening, demanded the family's belongings and that of every other person in the restaurant. With guns pointed at them, they all had no choice but to give in to their demands, hoping to avoid any violence. One of the intruders can be seen pocketing the surrendered wallets and items of their victims before exiting the scene. After getting what they wanted, the robbers left as quickly as they came, leaving everyone unharmed. In this footage captured in the middle of the day, a supermarket was suddenly attacked by four robbers in hoodies carrying big guns. The robbers were members of a cartel, causing panic and fear amongst the shoppers. After subduing everybody, the robbers who were carrying those weapons looking like machine guns quickly went to work. They pointed the gun at the store owner and customers, demanding their money and valuables. They took cash and other items from that supermarket. After grabbing whatever they could, the robbers didn't waste any time. They ran out of the store, got into their Volkswagen Tiguan, and sped away from the scene of the crime. The four robbers were never caught. Up next, we have a delivery truck driver going on his usual rounds when a black pickup truck suddenly parks in front of him, forcing him to stop. A small white car following closely behind immediately sped up, as what was about to happen quickly dawned on its driver. The gang members got down from their pickup and approached the driver. They threatened him, and then one after the other they forcefully entered the truck and sat at the back while one sat beside him. The panicked driver complied and followed their orders to continue driving. The black pickup that started this followed behind. While the driver was found later unhurt, the reason for the attack remains unknown, and the gang members are still at large. A truck was driving slowly on the side of the road when it was suddenly attacked by a man from a cartel. The truck driver knew he was in danger, so he started driving pretty fast to get away from the armed man chasing him on foot, as well as a pickup truck following behind. Unfortunately, big trucks like this aren't made for high-speed chases, and in no time the armed man on foot caught up with him and did something very scary. He attached himself to the truck and climbed through the driver's window. We can see the man shouting orders at the driver and pointing his gun at him, most probably threatening and telling him to stop and open the door. But the driver ignored him and kept on driving. He also left his window rolled up to avoid getting intimidated. When the hijacker saw the driver wasn't obeying his commands, he started shooting at the driver through the window. Thankfully, the window was bulletproof. The hijacker gave up his chase and the driver escaped unharmed. Two cartel members walk into a big store that sell a lot of different things. While another member would keep watch outside, the other two went in pretending to be interested in buying something. However, they had a scary plan. They first had amicable conversations, but then suddenly pulled out their guns, revealing their true selves to be robbers. They grabbed one of the workers and ordered him to lie down flat on the floor. When other employees caught wind of what was going on, they ran away as fast as they could. However, luck was on the side of the worker held hostage, as a security guard at the store was brave enough to come and help. A gun battle between the robbers and guard ensued. When they saw the security guard wasn't backing down despite their number, they immediately tried to escape. One robber wasn't quick enough, as he could be seen limping after getting hit by a bullet while the other two ran away. Not long after, the thief who got shot died from his wounds. In this video, we have an unsuspecting mother with her kids walking on the roadside when they come across a red parked car. The kid can be seen walking happily in front of his mother when something shocking happened. A man got out of his car, picked up the kid, and took him into his car. The mother sprang into action trying to rescue her son. Her other kids also joined in on the rescue mission. Thankfully, one of his siblings was able to grab a hold of him through the window of that front door before the kidnapper could drive off. Together, the mother and brother pulled until they were able to get the victim out of the car, leaving the kidnapper driving away empty-handed. CCTV captured the identity of the bad guy, and police are currently on the lookout for him. Now here we have police cam footage showing officers chasing after a big truck that had been reported stolen. Using traffic cameras and other means of communications, other police vehicles would get involved. They would put up roadblocks. Not long after, the police caught up with the truck, and there was a big chase. The hijacker tried everything he could to outrun the police. He started driving awkwardly, swerving all around, causing chaos. So to prevent the hijacker from running into other innocent vehicles, the police tried shooting at its tires. In the end, the driver had lost control and partially went off the road while it crashed into the pavement on the side of the highway. Police quickly ran over to ensure their suspect wouldn't run away. The truck thief turned out to be a member of the cartel and was immediately arrested. In this next video, a construction site becomes the scene of an unexpected disturbance. A group of people can be seen engaged in serious discussions when the camera suddenly pans away to a pickup truck barreling down a dirt path toward them. The crowd is caught off guard. They would start moving away slowly until the repeated sound of gunshots escalated the whole situation. Then everybody started running for their lives. Despite the fear and confusion, the group managed to escape unharmed. However, the motive behind the attack remains anyone's guess. April 11th. 2021, a security cam at the Gold Fundidora in Medellin captured a group of 19 heavily armed members of the Medellin cartel carrying out a robbery. The footage shows the criminals waiting for the exact moment to enter the premises, and as soon as they got it, one of the armed men rushed towards the gate and immediately overpowered the security guard. Next, more men came in, all armed with weapons, and would go into the building threatening employees. The purpose of the attack was to steal a large quantity of gold to the tune of 500 million pesos, equivalent to over $29 million. And as this robbery went on, the men outside could be seen intimidating and sending anyone who dares to come close to the gate away. In fact, a man later identified as Juan Andrés Beltrán was passing by and quickly got out his phone to record the incident. However, it didn't take long before they noticed and rushed over to him with a gun, forcing the man to run away. Luckily for the employees at the Gold Fundidora, the people close to that area immediately alerted the police. When they arrived, the robbers were forced to abandon their quest and also leave some of their loot. A shootout between the police and the cartel would ensue as the robbers quickly jumped into their vehicles and motorcycles to escape. The security guard was left tied up, and the police are still investigating. In this video, a man in red stood out, not for his attire, but for the startling event that soon unfolded. Now, this man can be seen talking to someone wearing a face cap while another person in a hoodie stood close by. However, as soon as the person in the cap left, the man in the hoodie slowly approached the man in red and quietly pointed a gun at his head. Other people and bystanders immediately understood what was about to happen and quickly got out of the way. Interestingly, this man who was the target was completely unaware of what was going on behind him. Thankfully, the gun refused to fire as it got jammed. The killer tried to get the gun to work again and again, but to no avail. Disappointed, he runs away, leaving the man unharmed. The crowd, though still puzzled, quickly grasped the gravity of the situation and alerted the man to the danger he just barely escaped. A street cam had caught a woman walking on the side of the road when a motorcycle stopped next to her and robbed her. But then someone driving a white truck saw what was happening and decided to help. The white truck rammed into the motorcycle, causing the bike to fall to the ground. The robber seemed undisturbed as he was trying to pick up his bike. The white truck didn't stop. It kept hitting the motorcycle again and again. Sadly, the robber still managed to get away with the woman's bag. This next video is an armored truck dashcam showing a one-lane overpass in Santiago. Here, the truck driver was cruising along this overpass when he came across a car in the middle of the road. Since it was a one-lane road, and with the car blocking the road, the truck driver slowed down, thinking they were having car troubles. As soon as he got behind the car, the two robbers armed with guns emerged from the vehicle and approached the truck. In no time, the driver realized that he had walked into a trap, but instead of giving in or feeling intimidated, he stepped on the accelerator, crashing into the robber's car. He shatters the rear glass and continues driving until he successfully pushes that car into the open expressway. The thieves were shocked and couldn't do anything but stand and watch as this brave driver escaped. Inside a moving van, a group of people can be seen sitting and waiting to get to their stop. All appeared normal until two of the passengers, a man and a woman, did something very shocking. The man pulls out some guns, revealing himself to be a robber and the woman his assistant. The woman gets to work collecting valuables from the passengers and stuffing them in her back. The man with the gun can be seen barking orders at those in front and the driver. He would go as far as to hit a passenger closest to him on the head. The shaken and panicked passengers quickly start handing over their property without fighting back. After the operation, the bad guys get out of the van and start walking away. But that wasn't the end for them, as they were caught soon after thanks to the camera in the van. And since they weren't smart enough to hide their identity, the police had an easy time finding them. On the bustling roads of Reynosa, Tamaulipas, a group of members with the Gulf Cartel had set up a checkpoint in their town, according to this footage captured by dashcam of an armored truck. The cartel was posing as law enforcement agents and can be seen with assault rifles, freely walking on the road. The major targets of these imposters were mostly trucks. Their MO was to approach the drivers, request for their license and registration, as normal police would do, before going on to assault the driver and possibly hijack the truck. Here we see the cartel interrogating the truck driver and requesting him to show several things. First, he wants to see a license, which he provides. But he wasn't satisfied and proceeded to tell the driver to bring the box he had beside him so that he could examine its content. While what happened next is unknown, word has it that if you come across the Gulf Cartel, you're extremely lucky if you get out of that unharmed. In a swift and heroic response, police officers in Bello, Colombia, foiled a motorcycle theft attempt by cartel members, leaving the would-be thief injured and in custody. The dramatic incident was captured on security cameras and unfolded as follows. A man was riding his motorcycle through the municipality of Bello when another person, intent on stealing the vehicle, approached and pushed him. The citizen fell to the ground, and in a fortunate coincidence, a police unit was nearby, witnessing the entire scene. Without hesitation, the cops sprang into action, reacting promptly to prevent the theft. However, the would-be thief, seemingly unaware of the police, attempted to resist, leading to a confrontation. In the ensuing scuffle, the alleged thief suffered an injury to his left forearm and was then apprehended. He was taken for medical treatment while officers ensured the scene was secured. The suspect now faces trial for multiple offenses, including manufacturing traffic offenses, illegal possession of firearms, and aggravated theft. Thanks to quick and brave police officers, the citizen's motorcycle was saved, and a potential criminal was brought to justice. Here, two friends are having a conversation in a gated, secluded area. As one would prep his motorcycle for a ride, they caught the attention of opportunistic thieves as another bike suddenly stopped behind them. The two cartel members would charge into where their friends were and try to snatch the bike. The owner of the bike can be seen fighting back, while the second man quickly rushes to the phone stand in an attempt to call for help. Unfortunately, he was unable to make a call as one of the robbers ordered him away from the phone. The bike owner was also unsuccessful in fighting back as the robber with the gun pushed him to a corner, collected his bag, and held him at gunpoint along with his friend. While all this was going on, the second thief got to work by starting the bike and getting it out to the road. Afterward, they got on the motorcycle and rode off, leaving the bike they came with behind. So this video shows an attempted robbery taking place at a clothing store. While the attendant was about her usual duties, a criminal entered and threatened the young attendant. Although the robber didn't show a gun, he was menacing and constantly talking, which made the victim extremely nervous. CCTV would show a dire situation, and the woman would continue to plead to the offender not to take anything. The criminal wasn't bothered by her distress and pleas. He went to the jacket rack, looked through it, and then picked a few for himself. Next, he strolled to the bag section and started stuffing stolen jackets. Fortunately, the quick-thinking victim spotted a policeman standing nearby, and that's when everything changed. She quickly signaled to him to come to her rescue. The cop had managed to get the message. Sensing something was amiss, just as the thief was approaching the door to escape, the officer walked in and intervened. The criminal, with a long history of theft, including stealing from homes and even armed robbery in public places, was arrested and taken into custody. Now here we can see two men having a conversation beside a truck loaded with gas cylinders, while another man is on a truck unloading the cylinders. As the scene unfolds, an armed cartel member masquerading as an innocent passerby seizes the opportunity to assault and extort the truck driver and his assistant. However, in this remarkable display of courage and resourcefulness, the man on his truck springs into action, seizing a gas tank with lightning speed. And with precision aim, he hurls the improvised weapon at the assailant, knocking him down to the ground. As soon as the criminal regained his balance, he quickly stood up and beat a hasty retreat. The men at the gas stand also immediately initiated a pursuit. What happened afterward is, however, not recorded. For a group of workers, a routine day transformed into a nightmare when they found themselves in the midst of a cartel's evil plot. As shown in the video, a white van suddenly appears out of nowhere with guys and guns coming out of it. The workers were confused and had no choice but to follow the instructions given. The cartel members can be seen ordering them into the van with their guns aimed at their heads. While the purpose of this is unknown, we can suspect it's related to kidnapping or human trafficking. There has been no official report about what you just saw right now. CCTV captures the moment a Brinks truck falls victim to daylight robbery by cartel members. Two cars are seen following closely behind, and as soon as it makes a stop, three men walk towards that truck while putting on their masks. The door of the truck had been left open by the driver to allow the robbers easy access to the loot. Behind them, a white car was reversing to face the other side of traffic, in preparation for a quick escape. Shortly after entering the truck, the two robbers and another of their accomplices reappeared holding 2 bags each and running towards the white car where they had deposited their loot. According to reports, the truck had been transporting 12 bags of cash, each containing about 120 million pesos, bringing the total sum to 1.4 billion pesos, equivalent to around $85 million. And while the robbers had made a return trip to get the rest of the bags, the most interesting part of this video is perhaps how the robbers had no weapons and yet managed to pull off such a great heist. After getting what they wanted, they escaped, taking the complicit driver with them. Now what happened to the driver is unknown, and the robbers were never caught. In this next video, a regular stop for a commuter van turns into a scene straight out of a thriller. A new passenger pretended to be interested in boarding the vehicle, had intentions that were far from ordinary. Standing at the entrance trying to rob other passengers in the van, he attempts to snatch something from the man in front of him, but fails. The passenger immediately stands up to the challenge, just as the driver also senses the danger. The driver made a split-second decision to drive, and the sudden movement immediately closed the door, leaving the would-be thief in the dust. As they drive away, the commuters are still on the floor, trying to avoid any bullets that would come their way. A couple's journey near the border suddenly becomes a race against fate. This couple notices a suspicious car following them from their side mirror. With the surge of adrenaline, the driver steps on the gas, trying to outrun the vehicle stalking them. Not long after, they notice 2 other vehicles in front of them. One was facing the wrong side of traffic, purposefully to block them off, while the other stood still. Despite the trap, the driver still managed to maneuver his way out of danger. While the purpose of the intended attack is unknown, this might just be another horrific example of human trafficking and robbery. Here we have a group of friends who were driving, and suddenly they had to stop because something fell on the road and popped one of their tires. They immediately pull over to the side of the road to avoid getting hit by traffic and bring their phones out to call for help. But then something strange happened. They were joined by some armed robbers who had a trap set for them. The friends can be seen cooperating with the robbers, raising their hands up and following every instruction given. However, despite trying to cooperate, the situation takes an unexpected turn as one person gets shot and ends up in the hospital. The robbers, being part of a cartel, are still on the run, with their identities unknown. In this dashcam police footage, we can see a white pickup truck being chased by cops when it suddenly veers off the road into the Arizona desert. The truck is seen speeding off and kicking up dust in this attempt to escape. The police car follows relentlessly, calling for backup and air patrol. The high-speed chase went on for a while until the truck stopped. It was later revealed that the driver, who had a firearm, was a human trafficker. And in this truck was a migrant family, who had no idea of the chase until much later. The rescued family tells police that they had paid the driver a sum of $5,000 to take him into the U.S. But that's not all. They were also in debt of about $13,000 for the journey. The truck driver was arrested and the family was taken to immigration. In this viral video, a large number of fishermen can be seen going about their usual duties on a pier when they suddenly hear gunshots. They immediately start running for their lives, some even jumping into the water to escape bullets. Shortly after, on a small boat, we can see the attackers, and they kept shooting. They get off the boat and onto the pier, checking every corner of the environment. These were members of the cartel hunting for extortion. Luckily for the fishermen, they escaped, but some people were left hurt and others dead. January 5th, 2023. This video, recorded in an airplane, shows a lot of people on board huddled close to the floor of that plane in this attempt to escape getting shot or hit by stray bullets. This was launched by the Sinaloa cartel after the capture of Ovidio Guzman, the son of notorious drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, following the unrest that saw both military and civilian aircraft burnt to ashes at Culiacan International Airport. Several armed forces were deployed to the area to contain the situation as seen here. The cartel, in defiance, however, erected 19 barriers on multiple runways, including those in the airport and army base, to prevent Guzman from being flown out of the country. Amidst the chaos, authorities loaded Guzman onto a military chopper to fly him back to Mexico City. Here we have the cartel trying to force their way into a building. One of them's on a lookout. Two can be seen close to the door of interest. One of the two start hitting it with a big log, which they seem to have brought for this specific purpose. He struggles with it at first until the second man jumps in. They break down this door in no time and rush in with their guns pointed at the occupants of the house. While gunshots can be heard in the background, what really happened inside remains a mystery. Shortly after, the cartel exit the house, and they've taken a male hostage who they stuff into the trunk of their getaway vehicle. After a quick look around to ensure there was no witnesses, they drive away with the hostage. An investigation is still trying to find out the reason for the attack and the identity of the kidnapped person. This last video is a rideshare dashcam showing the moment the driver almost became a victim of a cartel affiliate. Without warning, the passenger suddenly turns violent, pointing a gun at the driver, which was out of view of the camera. The robber, posing as a passenger, only booked this ride to steal the car. The driver, thrown into confusion and panic, quickly cooperates and agrees to his demands. Not long after revealing his true intentions, the robber demands an unscheduled stop. The reason for the stop was that so he could approach the driver's door to get him out of the car, after which he would take charge and drive off. However, he obviously didn't think this plan through, as the driver proved to be much smarter. After stopping as ordered, the robber got down from the car and closed the door to make his way towards the driver. But in a quick moment of thinking, the driver saw the opportunity to escape, so as soon as the door slammed shut, the driver stepped on the gas and drove off, leaving the thief stunned. The thief could even be seen briefly from the window as he stood there looking silly. In the end, the driver can be seen breathing a sigh of relief as he drives to safety, looking into the rear view to see if he's still being pursued. This brave act not only prevented the theft of the vehicle, but also ensured his safety. Also, you could see him as clear as day on that dash cam, so it should be quite easy for authorities.